Hi, welcome to this channel. If you have found this, I want you to know that your higher self is trying to tell you that you already have everything that you want. All you have to do is commit to it. And I'm going to get into why that is the message for today and how that is actually preventing you from having it all. We were all born with the same birthright. Abundance, peace, joy, love, happiness is our birthright. But from a young age, we are taught that everything that we want is separate from us, that we have to go get it, that we have to prove ourselves for it. We need a permission slip. We need somebody else to believe in us before we can feel good enough to actually have what our soul actually desires. I've been in the spiritual industry doing energy healing, spiritual mentoring, coaching, for 10 years. And I have gotten stuck in a lot of the manifesting whirlwind stories about what you need to do to manifest, whether it's Neville Goddard or whether it's Abraham Hicks or whether it's whoever, and the rituals you have to do, writing at 369, you have to visualize, you have to assume, all of these things that took something that was innate to us from the day we were born to making it this really big, extreme process. Like there's something that we have to do to manifest. You manifest in every moment. It is happening in every moment based on one thing that you are doing just like breathing air. It happens naturally, but you were never taught that it was there. So you get into spiritual circles. I did this, and people start talking about manifesting. You can manifest, I don't know, $10,000, $15,000, a partner, a job. And all of a sudden, manifesting became a thing you had to do, a process you needed to do. And if you didn't check all the boxes, you weren't going to get what you wanted. It was never supposed to be that. We took something that was very easy, innate to us, and made it really hard. And I was part of that. And I apologize for anybody that listened to my videos and said, and did what I did or said what I told them to do or whatever, right? Because I was lost in it too. But now I'm starting to come out of the veil and see that manifesting is who you are. It's who I am. You know, your first physical manifestation in this life is your physical body. Every day that you wake up and you're still in your physical body, you have manifested your physical body again. And we forget that our body is actually a manifestation of this soul energy that we are. It is the vessel through which it experiences life. It is the dimension where physicality exists. But there's all this talk in spiritual circles that really is about separation. This idea that you have to do something or chase something in order to manifest, to receive what you want, is all about the separation game, which we have been taught from a young age. School, society, TV, parents, culture, religion, you name it. It's all about separation. This idea that what we want is outside of us and we need to do something to get it. And manifesting became like the umbrella for us to be able to get those things outside of ourselves so that we could have it. When that's not your soul's birthright. Your birthright is the minute you imagine it or have this one of these divine downloads, I'll call it. It's already done. You already have it. And all you have to do is know that it is already yours. This is what some people call embodiment. And I had a hard time with embodiment. I was like, what does that mean? And it's remembering that there is nothing separate from you. You are everything that you want already. It requires you to just know that you are. So as an example of this, many people are trying to jump to their highest timeline, quantum jump to their highest timeline. You are your timeline. Your timeline's not somewhere out there in the etheric. It's not up in, the heavens. It is you. And when we talk about this idea that there's a higher timeline or a better timeline, you are literally narrating what you're manifesting. You're saying to the universe or the field, because this is quantum. Hey, I want to experience what it's like to feel separate from this timeline where everything is freaking awesome. And the field does not care whether it's right or wrong or good or bad. It just says, oh, that's what you want to experience? I'll write that narrative and we'll let it unfold in your life. And you manifest the experience that you can be on a lower timeline. It does not exist. You are the highest timeline, and you have to say it and know that it's true. And when you do that and say, I am the highest timeline, the field then reflects that in your reality because you know that it's not separate from you. It's not something you have to do to get it. It just is. And this is an entirely different shift than what has been taught in many circles. And I still listen to some of the spiritual people that I was listening to before, although many I haven't, because they talk about it like you're separate from what you want. What you want is not outside of you. You are it. And every time you get a divine download, the field is saying, hey, you on your highest timeline, I've got this job that I would like to experience through you. Do you want it? You get all excited thinking about, imagining what it's going to be like to experience that. You're on cloud nine. And then you go into this manifesting, goal-driven, performative thing that you have to figure out how to do it, when to do it, what it will look like. You talk yourself out of it. You narrate the script of how that actually becomes real in your life instead of saying, yes, I want that, and I am it. And because you say that you are already it, meaning you do not have to do anything for it, it happens because you've narrated that script for that to unfold in your reality. There's so much intertwining stuff here. It is nested. Some of you may be able to make that shift like this. For me, it took months. I have been trying to wrap my head around this since January. It is almost June. And I've been up, I've been down, and up, down, up, down. Because it's not a logical thing. The field does not work on logic. If you try to, it won't work because you're trying to use your mind to think your way into a paper bag that's already yours. You're already it. What are you trying to figure out? And all you're doing is creating delays, being in the idea of waiting. But when you remember that the minute you say, yes, source or the field, I want that. I want to experience what it feels like to have my soulmate or be a millionaire. The universe goes, great, I'm going to write that up for you right now. Let's do it. And you own it like it is done. And you don't let the 3D, this dimension, talk you out of it because you aren't seeing signs or getting proof. If you're looking for signs that it's not happening, you're telling the universe that you actually don't want it. Our thought processes and how we approach reality have to shift. We have created such a deep nest, and I was included in that, that has caused manifesting to become hard, to become work. And it is not. It is who you are. You are who you say you are. If you say that you want to be a millionaire or be abundant, you have to talk like you already are, regardless of how much money you have in your bank account, how many bills you have. It doesn't mean you don't pay those. It just means that that doesn't matter because you know you're not it. All of those things, bills, debt, the money in your bank account currently, is because you are writing the script that you are separate from what you want. That was one of the biggest things. I talk to the field a lot now to understand like just where I am. And it said, debt is just because of the story of separation. In the source quantum field, there's no such thing as debt. Everything's in green because everything's expansive. There's not limits on anything. But because we've been in this idea that it's separate from us, we end up in this idea of debt. And it was like, I get it, right? Like these little nuances that we don't understand that are causing us to live in separation from our truth and who we really are. There's nothing outside of us that prevents us from having the money, the partner, the love, the joy, the happiness. It's us and the story, each of us, that the story we tell. And we've been trained from a young age, many of us. When I grew up, I know I watched TV with my parents when I was young. I learned how society was based on TV. And before I went to school, let's say. And it has caused me to have stories about money and life that aren't true to my nature. But more than that, it's taught us to accept what we find on TV, on the internet, as true. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not true. There's a reality in the quantum where that is true, but you can choose not to experience it and say, no, that's not part of my reality. Because everything is you, but you get to choose what you experience. There's no separation. It's absolutely nothing. And when you start to realize that, you'll see a lot of separation around you, how people talk, how people act, because it's innate to us. We've created a world based on separation. If there wasn't separation, there wouldn't be wars, there wouldn't be racism, there wouldn't be anger and all the things. It's only because there's this, or there wouldn't be lack or scarcity. There wouldn't be class systems, because all of those are stories about separation. And when we're stuck in those stories of separation, we easily get pulled into other stories of separation because it's separation is lack. But you are not that. Your birthright was abundance from the beginning, and you get to choose to experience something different. So you have to come back to that truth that you're not separate. That when you say you're on your highest timeline, you are. Another example of this is dimensions. There's 12 dimensions. There's probably more than that, honestly. I just don't think we can comprehend from a quantum field perspective. There's probably infinite dimensions. But for a long time, I was talking about getting from 3D to 5D. You are multidimensional and accessing all dimensions all at once. There's no getting to 5D. You've always been in 5D. You've just created the narrative that you're separate from it so that you're experiencing the separateness of it in the world. You are all dimensions all the time. You are multidimensional, working through each layer of that in whatever way you are designed. And we're all designed differently. We're not all supposed to see the same thing. That's not how this works. You see a different reality than everyone else, and that is exactly how it's supposed to work, because they are designed based on source's blueprint to see the way they do based on their purpose and their gifts and whatever sources either experience or learning through them. So if you find yourself doing all the things and nothing is working, or maybe it is working but it's random, which I was definitely having, then come back to the truth that there's nothing separate outside of you. And if you really want to unwind this nest, I do have a group. It's a school group. It's currently free to join. That will probably change, and this YouTube will become my free content. It's called Abundance Recoded. It is about remembering that you were never separate from abundance. Nobody outside of you has it. There's nobody you have to get it from. You don't have to make it. All you have to know that you are it. And it's unwinding all of that. There's energy healing and such. Now, it is for women only. So if you're a woman who is ready to, I say this, give the finger to the system that we have all created out of separation, to remember what it's like to really act knowing that you are everything and that you don't need anything outside of yourself to get what you want, then join the group. The link is below. It's Abundance Recoded. Like I said, it's currently free to join. There are paid tiers where I go deeper into the energy healing, but it's time. It's time for us to remember that there's no separation. And when there's no separation, what are we chasing? What are we hustling for? What are we stressing about? What are we fearing? It's only in separation that we have fear, because without separation, we know it's ours already. And then fear goes away and we just live from a place of joy, happiness, expansion, growth, fun. You get to breathe a little. You remember the God source that's in you. So if you're ready to step into that circle, and unwind all this, unwind all the junk around separation. Remember your truth, that you're not separate from it. Then join the group and let's freaking do this. Let's create a world that's not based on separation. That's based on knowing that we all are it already. No one can stop us from having it because we are it. So that is it for this video. I hope to see you next time. But if you want to go deeper, join the group Abundance Recoded, and I'll see you there. Bye for now.